game, because we got to sweep the house while they negotiated to try to fund the border wall, while they negotiated to sell out the DACA youth, while they negotiated with this fascist regime as it unleashed its nightmare on the masses and millions of immigrants, okay? Little children ripped from the arms of their parents, put in concentration camps, and yes, this is still happening. It doesn't matter if it has left the headlines. This is still what is going on. This is still what this regime has unleashed. Don't tell me, oh, fascism couldn't happen here. It is happening here. Look at what they're doing to these immigrants and to the children. And what continues to be going on. And not a single one of these Democrats is talking about bringing that to a stop. In fact, some of them have positioned themselves to try to seem more tough on immigration. Oh, we're going to come up with sensible immigration reforms and policies to compromise with Trump so we can stave off. No! Accommodation and compromise with fascism is exactly what paved the roads to the death camps in Nazi Germany. We don't need to do what the German people did in Nazi Germany, trying to ride it out and see if we could survive the horrors while the masses of people are ground up by it. We should be doing what the German people should have done, moving heaven and earth to drive this regime from power. And as we do that, we have to talk about the system that gave rise to this regime. We have to talk about a system that could even allow a fascist like Donald Trump and his whole regime to come to power. A system that presents the only alternative as other ruling class representatives who want a slightly repackaged form of oppression and exploitation and domination. Because not a single one of these Democrats have clean hands. Every one of them has blood on their hands too. They've been part of enforcing this empire for generations. And they have compromised and accommodated with this fascist regime, selling people out and handing them over on a silver platter to American Nazis. So let's talk about how we actually do something about this. Because just the fact that this system can't do anything and its representatives can't offer any solution doesn't mean that we have to accept this, because this is totally unnecessary. And the system that has given rise to it can and must be overthrown. Not reformed, not by fighting for chump change, but by looking at where this has come from and what must be done to get rid of it once and for all. Bob Avakian addresses this like no one else. No one else is actually talking about where this has actually come from. No one else has the courage and the nerve to say, no, not only can we not make America great again, America was never great. This country was founded on genocide, theft of land, the enslavement of African people. This country expanded by wars of conquest and domination. It feeds off of not only waging these wars and destroying people around the world, but super exploiting immigrants who come to this country. This is not a nation of immigrants that all came together, all happy to pursue a better life. These are people who had to flee their homelands after those homelands were destroyed by America and what this country does to people all around the world. Immigrants who were not only super exploited, but like, you go back to the history of this country, Chinese immigrants brought here to build the railroads and then slaughtered in mass. Then you had immigrants from Eastern Europe and other parts of Europe who came here. And the only way they could get in on the American dream is if they identified with this white supremacist culture and outlook of America, becoming white people, taking part in the oppression and exploitation of black people and the genocide of the Native Americans. This is not a nation of all these different colors of people who came together all hand in hand happy. This is a prison house of nations. This is a prison house of different cultures and nationalities that have been dragged here either in chains or driven here through imperialist plunder and wars of domination. This is a country that since its very foundation has had not only white supremacy, but male supremacy built into it, where women were codified as property of their husbands, property to be used. And down to today, and this is what fascists like Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Mike Pence, these are the kinds of things they want to bring back in even more open and explicit form. Women as chattel, as breeders of men's children, as things who don't have the right to control their own bodies. And this is all built into a system of capitalism and imperialism. And we don't need to be reforming that system or trying to save it or bring it, or get our peace and all this. We need to get rid of this system. We need to make a revolution. And we need to be living today as future people, not as people who are lining up behind one or another representative of this system, but as future people fighting for the world we want to live in. In the Revolution Club, we have these points of attention, these 6 points of attention. I talk about how we're not in this for personal gain. We're in this for the fundamental interests of humanity, for revolution and communism. We're not out to break one chain. We want all the chains broken, where women, men, and differently gendered people are equals and comrades. In the Revolution Club, we talk about this is not for one country or one nationality. We want a world without borders, where all cultures and all peoples are respected as equal human beings. We're not out for revenge, to get back at the people who have oppressed us, and fighting in ways that make us become the very thing that we're fighting. We're fighting to get free, and we have the responsibility and the potential to struggle for the most oppressed to do that. And we don't care how unpopular the truth is, we have to tell the truth. We have to tell people the truth. Like right now, when the Democrats are trying to line people up to come back under the wing, to domesticate the resistance and turn it into a passive, not resistance, but acceptance and accommodation. We have to tell people the truth, that you're being bamboozled. You're being lied to. You're being manipulated. You're being brought down the road of accommodation and collaboration with nightmares that you don't even want to be part of. We have to tell people the truth no matter how unpopular. And all this needs to work towards a day when we can actually make a revolution to overthrow this system. Yes, overthrow, right here in the belly of the beast. Working today to get ready for those times when millions can go all out and take on this powerful imperialist giant and bring it down and get it off the backs of people here and around the world.